having a sense of purpose in life has been shown over and over again, multiple studies, to provide health, longevity, and happiness. So people who have a sense of purpose in life have all those things. On the other hand, I found other studies that show that up to 91% of people at some point in their life have what's called purpose anxiety. This idea that purpose actually makes them frustrated and depressed. And so I was left with this question, how can it be both? How can it be like the most important thing and also the most anxiety ridden? And what I realized is that purpose isn't one thing, it's probably two things. And one of those is associated with anxiety. And the other one is associated with that health, happiness, and longevity. And so I call them big P purpose and little p purpose. A big P purpose, the one that causes anxiety, is very goal-oriented. And the problem with being really goal-oriented is we tend to think in America, like if you can think it, you can build it. So it tends to be really big. I want to be president, I want to cure cancer, I want to do all these kind of things.
Yeah.
The problem is a lot of us don't have agency to do that. We're not the right person at the right time, saying the right things with the right genetics and the right luck. And so for instance, if you want to be president, that's great, but only one person can be president. Everyone else is going to fail at least each 4-year cycle. And that's going to leave us feeling bad.
Yes, sir.
On the other hand, what if we started looking at what I call little p purpose? This means finding things that light us up and just doing them. This is really abundant, right? So big P purpose is kind of scarcity mindset oriented. It's winner takes all. Little p purpose, really, really abundant. Just what can I find that I enjoy? And if I stop enjoying it, I start doing something else. And so it's like, instead of being all or nothing, it's all or all. You can't fail. And so that's the difference, is I think we get this purpose wrong, and I think it makes us upset and anxious. Now, don't get me wrong. I think goals are great. And when you're looking at 2025, you want to have goals. In fact, I'm okay with big goals. But you have to be a little bit more goal agnostic. In other words, the goal can't be the whole reason, or you're probably doing it wrong. Like the goal almost has to be a happy side effect of doing things that light you up, because you want to enjoy the process, because you're going to spend 95% of your time in the process and only 5% succeeding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what? I love how you said that, because all the times when I'm sitting across from my guests, I try to see, okay, how can I relate what they're teaching to my personal life? And one of my biggest goals was I wanted to help millions of people get out of debt. That was one of my biggest goals. But then I was like, dang, how do I measure that? I can't really measure that. But what I can do is, can I just focus on helping one person get out of debt? And every single time we record a show, my team and I want to be able to teach something that helps one person get out of debt. How can I measure that? We see it all the time in the comments. I get it all the time in my DMs. And man, when I started realizing that my purpose, my little p purpose, man, the little p purpose is going to get me eventually to the big goal. And that's what I started realizing. If I want to go all the way back, I'm super spiritual. And I remember growing up, I said, man, I want to be the best youth pastor in the world. That's what I said. I said, I want to be the best. I want everybody to know my name. And then I heard the Spirit tell me, heard God tell me, he said, man, listen, focus on one kid in your community. Focus on one school inside of your community. Focus on just Jacksonville, Florida at that time. Well, actually, at that time, it was Fayetteville, North Carolina. Focus on Fayetteville, North Carolina. And then what ended up happening is, going back to what you're saying, this is why this book is dope. This is why y'all got to get this book, because he's teaching good. When I focused on Fayetteville, which was a small city, Doc, small city. I think we only had about 150,000 people there in the city. I wasn't worried about the United States knowing my name. I was like, okay, I just want Fayetteville to be impacted by the ministry that my church is doing. Man, next thing I knew, someone in Jacksonville, Florida, Bishop McKissick, heard what I was doing, which is Jacksonville, Florida. Now you're in millions of people. Go ahead. I see you want to say something.
And, well, here's the thing. When you do things that light you up,
yes, sir,
like a moth to a flame, it attracts people. People want to collaborate with you. People who believe in the same things you believe in. And that's where that connection to community, but that's also where the impact and legacy comes from. So a lot of people think, I'm going to have impact and legacy, I'm going to get that 1 million subscribers. Or I'm going to cure cancer, or I'm going to do this big thing. But the problem is, because it's so difficult, a lot of times they burn out and they stop trying. But what if you, and I know this is you, what if you're like, I love pastoring.
Yeah.
I love teaching financial literacy.
Yeah.
Every day I come and I'm lit up by it.
Yeah.
You will impact more people. Your legacy will last.
We'll get right back here to the show, but real quick, you all know here at the table, we are all about helping you build financial freedom and build the wealth that you desire without racking up any debt. And here's the truth, that a lot of you all are on this journey of becoming a homeowner and building the life that you desire, but we gotta make sure that your credit profile is not jacked up in the midst of this process. That's why I want to introduce you to my new friends at Kickoff. It's an easy tool that helps you build credit with zero hidden fees and no surprises. Now, before you think I have gone crazy, listen here. Kickoff can help you build credit, watch this, without the temptation to overspend. Instead, it's a smart way to help build the kind of credit profile that could save you money on big things like a home or car insurance, because a clean credit profile can mean better interest rates. If you've been looking for a simple, practical way to improve your financial profile and build that credit foundation, give Kickoff a try. It's a straightforward tool that makes a real progress possible. Watch this. I'll say this again. That makes real progress possible without getting you into any more debt. So head over to AnthonyONeal.com/kickoff. That is KIKOFF. And let's get you one step closer to that financial freedom. Again, that is AnthonyONeal.com/kickoff, KIKOFF. And let's get you there. Remember, your dream home, your financial freedom is right around the corner. You're dialed into today's show. So get all the information that you need and check out my friends at Kickoff. And together, we're going to help change your future.
And it will long last after you're gone.
Yeah.
And this is the piece people don't understand. A quick story about my maternal grandfather.
Yes, sir.
He loved math.
Okay. Okay.
Because of it, he became a CPA.
Mm-hmm.
He just loved math. It wasn't even helping people, he just loved math. Back in the 1950s, my mom would sit on his lap and he'd have these big spreadsheets, right? They didn't have computers back then, so he'd be writing in the numbers into the little boxes. And she saw him lit up, so she wanted to be like him. So she became an accountant. And when I was a little kid, right around when my father died, I actually had a learning disability.
Did you?
I did. I couldn't read. So while everyone else was reading, I was coloring in a coloring book. But you know why I didn't think I was lost?
Why?
Because I had taken on that same identity, seeing my mom do something she loved, math. And so I started doing math.
Wow.
And so I was excellent at math. Fast forward, I used this love of math to become a doctor, and I was treating a patient, and I saw some lab values, and I realized he had a rare disease because I saw the mathematical connection between those two lab values. And we were able to change something, and he stopped coming to the hospital, stopped getting dehydrated, pretty much saved his life. He was a pastor at a local church, and he took in runaways. And he fed them, got them social services. So think about this. My maternal grandfather, I never met him. He died in the 1960s. I was born in the 1970s.
Okay. Okay.
His love of math is still alive today in that pastor who's helping a runaway kid. Because like a pebble dropped into the ocean, it displaced a little water that became a wave. And that wave joined other waves at times to become really, really big. And at other times it became small and dissipated, but eventually came up on sandy shores 50, 60 years later, hundreds of miles away. But it all started with doing something that lit him up. Something you and I think, try to do every day.
You know, Doc, you teaching good, man. Because I'm like, I love the big P, little P. There's nothing wrong with the big P. It's just that you gotta, that can't be your focus. It has to be the little P, in my personal opinion, because I think I am getting to my big P, right? Because I focus on the little P. Let's just look at my journey real quick. And then I want to ask you another question that I think a lot of people, I want to associate anxiety with purpose and purpose and anxiety. You talk a little bit about it in your book. I'm going to get a little more clarity on that because I think a lot of people are dealing with that. But I focus on Fayetteville. Fayetteville led me to Jacksonville, Florida, a bigger city, a bigger state, a bigger organization, a bigger church. I went from 2,000 people at this church to 20,000 people, from 120 youth to about 5,000 youth. I get to Jacksonville, I focus solely on Jacksonville, Florida. I'm partnering with the Jaguars. I'm partnering with the schools, the superintendent. I'm trying to make sure that that ministry is impacting that city. What happens after that? Ramsey Solutions finds out what I'm doing. And they're like, yo, wait, we see this. Now we want to bring you to this national level and the same message that I started off something small. So then now I go from there. I worked there for 7, 8 years. Now I leave on my own, and now we're hitting on 1 million subscribers. Our total community tribe throughout all of our platforms is close to 2 million people. And I'm like, but I started off with the little P.
Yeah, and that's why you didn't burn out. That's why you're still at it.
But let's talk about this. I didn't burn out, but boy, I did have some anxiety. I ain't gonna lie to you, Doc. Boy, I had some anxiety. And you talk about purpose anxiety inside your book. Break that down for us. What does that look like?
It's all about agency.
Okay.
We want control.
Yes.
It makes us anxious when we feel like we can't control what happens to us.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with purpose.
Yeah.
Most people walk around thinking it's this huge thing.
Yeah.
It's once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
You either find it and everything is great.
So good.
Or you miss it and you're lost. And this sets us up to fail. So what do? We don't know what our purpose is.
Yeah.
We're supposed to find it. We don't know how to find it.
Right.
So we go looking. And where do we go looking? Social media.
Yes.
And marketing.
Yes.
And society. And guess what? They have a version of Big P purpose they want to sell you, and there's a reason they want to sell you it.
Yeah.
They want you to have 6-pack abs, or at least that's what they say. They want you to travel the world. They want you to have a 7-figure business.
Yes.
They want you to wear the finest clothes, but you know why? They don't care about you.
Facts.
They want you to buy the thing.
Facts.
They want you to follow them.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem. You can be an influencer and be ethical and come with your little P and show people who you are.
Yes.
But the world is full of people trying to sell you a version of purpose that serves them and not you.
Facts.
And of course, we fall for it hook, line, and sinker. And we say, I want those 6-pack abs. I want that 7-figure business.
Yeah.
And if we're not the right person at the right time, saying the right things, if we don't have the genetics to have 6-pack abs, nor the money to buy the really healthy food, nor the gym membership, nor the trainer, if we don't have those things, we feel lost.
That is true.
Like there's this big thing we're missing.
Yeah.
And it's being kept from us.
Yeah.